Welcome back to The Short Coat, coming to you from the amazing and intense world of med school at the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine. I'm Dave Etler. Today, we'll answer the age-old question, why folks apply but don't get into medical school. Later, we'll talk about what to do about it, but for now, let's focus on the reasons that typically happens. And to do that, I have with me some med students who did get in, eventually, like M3 Fallon Jung.
Hello.
M1 Daniel Haws has joined us for the first time.
M2
Daniel
my
Haws.
first time. You've seen me some.
I don't know why I thought you were. Yeah, that's crazy talk.
Even I've seen Daniel before.
Yeah, this
Damn it.
terrible.
Double miss, Dave.
Woof.
M2 Cara Arrasmith is here.
Hi.
And if you thought that was all, well, I don't know what to tell you because we're joined by our very special guest, Rachel Shulista,
Whoop whoop.
from Carver College of Medicine Admissions.
Hello.
So I want to start by acknowledging for future applicants, the numbers are not in your favor. Sorry to say, if you're hoping to get in on the first try anyway, nationally about 55 or 60% of applicants, Rachel, are not accepted each year. Sounds like the name of the game is I guess we call it app maxing. Students, if you had to look back on your first applications, what do you think prevented you from getting in on your first try?
Applying late.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. That was like my big downfall. I really thought that because all of the applications, the secondary applications were like the deadline's October. And I was like, okay. And so I sent them out in October. That was an epic fail on my part.
I was just talking to advisors about this morning because it's a genuine thing to think. You see a deadline and you think that's what I need to apply by.
Of course.
When in reality, it's a disadvantage to wait until the deadline. A major disadvantage.
Okay.
Do they still say like 2 weeks after you receive the invite is when you should submit it? Because that's what stressed me out the most.
This is so funny because we've gotten this question a lot this year too. And no, we do not, and I cannot speak on behalf of other medical schools, but we do not pay attention to how long it takes you to submit your secondary application after we send it to you.
I got mine on Friday and it was done on Saturday, and I'm like, don't be too up about it. And I sent it in on Monday. So I was like, I gotta do the thing.
I paid attention to the 2-week thing because while some places might not care, maybe other places do. And I feel like not very many people are open and honest about it. So
I did.
Liars.
I think for the ones I cared about, I did within 2 weeks. But then I applied to, I think the first round, I only applied to 10 MD, which I think limited me a lot. The second round I did, I think still 10 to 12 MD and then a handful of DO. But then the ones I cared about, which sounds bad, but I did within 2 weeks. And then I'm not going to lie, I just straight up didn't fill some of the other secondaries out.
There's burnout and it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The amount of money necessary to do that is
ridiculous.
Terrible. It's insane. I was looking at the total cost of it, and it was several $1,000s to do that. And I think that's something that I had to put in perspective myself. I just came back from a deployment. I was like, I felt pretty cash rich, I'm doing pretty good. And then I went back to school full time. So then I was like, I just saw my bank account go down and down and down and down and down since that time. So I went through all this class for 2 years, and then I began my applications again, and it was, oh my God, this is the burden on me in order to apply was insane. And I think that's just something that I had to very, very be conscientious of what schools I'm going to apply to, how many I'm going to apply to, is because I had to put in my mind, am I going to get into Harvard? Well, okay, I'm not going to spend the money to put it there.
Right. And that impacts your timeline of applying to making these decisions.
Absolutely.
What else besides timeline or applying too late affected you?
I think for me, it was a lot of experience, medical experience.
Yeah.
Because I know they say it's not required, but because I didn't start thinking about med school until after I graduated undergrad. So I was working as a lab assistant. So I was I'm going to be the research applicant. That's where all my time and efforts has gone. And I think I only had one, I shadowed a forensic pathologist. And
unique choice too.
Yes. And so that's also I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I am so thankful I got rejected my first round because that prompted me to go get more experience. And that's when I worked as a scribe in an ortho clinic, because before I wanted to do pathology, which if y'all know me, I yap. I'm a certified yapper. And pathology, not that you can't be a yapper in path, but
They can't yap back.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Scribing made me discover my love for more clinical medicine and ortho. But yeah, I think experience, especially when it came to like the actual interview questions too, I like just the change in like the answers I was able to give and the insight I had.
So the requirement to go and shadow is not bullshit.
So the needing shadowing in general is not. There is not a minimum
Sorry,
number.
I should say clinical experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clinical experience is absolutely necessary. We do not have a minimum number of hours for the MD program. Yes, the PA program has the 1,000-hour minimum, and that may be in place for many other programs. Our committee's mentality is very much quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. And the point of you doing this, everything that's asked of you in the pre-med preparation process is a lot, right? But it's not for no reason. The things that you are asked to do are to help you to know what you're getting into, why this is the way you want to help people in the world, especially in this specific role. And for you to know that within yourself and that you actually like working with patients, you're not creeped out by being in the hospital too much, and you know what you're getting into. And so that when you continue on to the next step, you are better equipped for that. It is not to make your life miserable, even though it seems that way sometimes. It is
or
for
even to
a reason.
weed you out or something like that.
Totally not.
Like,
It is just as beneficial for you as it is for your application. And so that's why we don't have a minimum number of hours, because you could have really awesome shadowing experiences with, a couple of different physicians who you shadow, a few times. It's nice to have some breadth in your shadowing, some primary care, maybe some specialties, simply for your own curiosity, and direct patient care experiences to know that you like working with vulnerable people and that you can practice empathy and listening and communication and all of that, to know that you like interacting with people in that setting. It's so valuable and necessary so that you know what the heck you're getting into.
Daniel, what do you think your problems were with your first application?
Yeah, there's lots. So it's there's just I was not a very great applicant. In my mind, I look at it, I think I have a lot of people are like, oh, you have an interesting story, which is helpful, but an interesting story does not mean you're fit to be a physician. And I think that's something that I did not really want to accept when I first applied. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, no, I'm interesting. And because of that, I will be able to kind of give a reason, right?
Daniel's like, I am interesting.
And I promise, like all the things about me, I'm cool, I'm neat, and I can talk about things a lot. And like I think I did expect that to give a lot of weight to who I was on paper. And it always does, right? If you're someone that has a lot of life experience and you're able to tell the world and see the world in a unique way, right? You're going to provide a distinct type of care that other people can't do. And I think that's very important. To me, I think it was like, okay, I got good grades and I'm interesting, and that's all I need to do in order to be successful. It didn't help as well that I was, for the month before my MCAT, I was doing military training, so I was like sleeping in the woods and stuff, like digging a hole and sleeping in it. And so I was a post command captain at the time, so like I had a lot of authority, but still at the same time none, because I wasn't in a role that needed me to be in command. So my boss was like, we'll give you plenty of time to go study. And of course that didn't happen, right? So I was a staff officer at the time, so I was like working on staff things. I was like preparing stuff for that. So for literally the month before the MCAT, I did not get to study at all. I came back on that Friday, just smoked, just exhausted, to take the exam on Saturday. So like literally I just like studied all night on Friday, like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then I remember in taking the MCAT, like, this is not going well. This is not good. so that grade came out. I'm like, this is not good. This is not the grade that's going to make me successful. But I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to apply anyway. And so I did, and I'm happy I did. I got to talk to a lot of people to help me through it. So for me to get interviews, the fact that I got interviews at all, I think the biggest thing that helped me through that was that I had built a relationship with Rachel and the rest of the admissions team. Because the second I saw my grade is obviously you have this anxiety of like, okay, this is not the opportune way I want to like start my application process. And it's a little different. Didn't really have a really great support group to kind of talk about that, right? It's like, so I didn't have parents to talk to. I didn't really have anyone going through this before. It was my first time going through. I had no idea what I was doing. So like Rachel and the rest of the admissions team was like, these guys were the people that I got to express, I'm screwed, what do I do, right? And I think I was aware enough that they were giving me politically correct answers and politically encouraging answers, but both of us could feel the tension in the issue, right? I remember the email that Rachel sent me was like, your grade the score does meet your minimum requirements. This does not mean you're out of the race. This does not mean all these things. And I know that it was, like I said, that's the correct thing to say to an applicant. But I also know in that message was just like, we have work to do. We have making up to do. And I think that was something that was really important to me to kind of get that side kind of explanation through it of like, how do I make things better? Well, then you got to nail the interview, you got to do these things right. And that's what helped me to prepare for what was coming up next, which was the interview and stuff like that. So, so I think very fondly about the admissions team because they really took care of me in this time of like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to approach this next step in this entire thing. So
yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah, they're great.
They do all right.
Mm-hmm.
They do all right. Sounds like you were applying before you were strictly speaking ready to meet the desired qualifications, not just the minimum qualifications.
Right.
And metrically from his perspective and experientially from Cara's perspective, needing varied clinical experience outside of research, which you did, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think that what also was really, really terrible in my point of view was my first time going through school was not awesome, right? Like sub 3.0 GPA.
Word.
So not good, right? So obviously that's why I didn't apply. Like when I graduated like 12 years ago, it's because my GPA was so bad. And I was like, okay, I'm not smart enough to do this. I'm try it again. So then when I came back and I just redid undergrad again, essentially just got more degrees just to put on top of it. So even with like above a 4.0 GPA on that, my overall GPA was a 3.27. Right. So I remember when I called the first time asking about applying and I had a below 3.0 GPA and someone was like, well, to apply to med school, you have to be above 3.0. And I was like, okay, I need to work on that too. So even with a 4.0 GPA, with a whole new degree, restarting myself, I'm at a disadvantage. So here I am with not great GPA, and then a not great MCAT, not a good showing for myself academically. So that didn't help.
And I'll put a caveat that it's not that is your whole story.
Right.
And it's not that your on paper cumulative of a 3.27 damaged you.
Right.
Because the committee sees so much detail with your GPA and they really pay attention to how you've done most recently,
right,
especially in science coursework, to make them feel good that you'd be okay moving into a medical school curriculum. And so that happens frequently where either an applicant doesn't meet the 3.0 minimum or they just didn't do well enough to put themselves in a quote unquote competitive position. So they go on and do a post-bac program or a master's program that's science-based. Well, the committee pays special attention to that because this is your most recent coursework, your most recent performance. This is where you're at right now, point in time.
Right.
And that tells a better picture to them than your cumulative, which spans a decade, right?
And obviously, Rachel's jumping on this because how many conversations that we had about this?
We've had a lot.
30,000 conversations about this.
We spent a lot of time together.
Oh, and it's because that's how I associated myself, my value, my worth as an applicant was like, hey.
Oh, yeah, you really did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's black and white, right? You either made the score or didn't, and that's not, whoever's listening to this, that's not you're more than
so much
that.
More. Mm-hmm.
But to me, that was easy. It was an easy thing for me to just go and say, I am not qualified to be here. And that's why every interview I got was like a happy surprise. Like, oh wow, okay, I can do this. Big dum can get in here, and they all talk to me about it.
You had a lot of negative self-talk.
Listen, it's a systemic thing.
I get it. Hey, you're better now, though.
Yeah, sure. Here we go. Yeah, we're doing better.
You are.
Let's move on to, you get the interview. Interview preparation. Did any of you have interview prep issues, do you think?
Yeah. How'd your first interview experiences go?
I am also a yapper.
And the interview is one thing.
So
look
overall,
forward to.
I think the interview was like a huge blessing. Like for me, it was, if I can get the interview, I feel like things will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the paper that's gonna be like my downfall. But I think something that I see a lot or like hear about a lot is when people can't convince you that it's medicine that they want to go into and not something else. So like,
Preach.
Like I see so many essays that are like, wow, you would probably be a fantastic social worker. Or like, oh, my experience was in nursing. And so like, basically the whole essay is about like why I so loved my nursing position, but not why I want to be a doctor. And so I think being able to break out like, what does it actually mean to be a doctor? How is that different from being a nurse? How is that different from being a social worker? And what things will you be able to do as a doctor that sort of overlap with that? And then what things won't you be able to do? And really being able to tune into that and explain that to people, either through your essay or like in person.
Dang, Val, that was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing that helped me with that a lot for the interview was the experience, not to like beat a dead horse, but
No,
like
it matters.
It's so true.
yeah, when I could talk about like the docs that I worked with, I looked up to them. I wanted, like, still now, when like this semester has like been low-key really rough, but when it's hard, I'm like, oh, one day like I can be in their shoes. And like in the interview, I was able to talk about like what I see in them that like I want to be one day and why that's different from my research background. And I knew that wasn't where I wanted to be. And yeah, just kind of like what I've learned. And I was lucky enough that I worked in West Des Moines, which is like, your normal like suburban, but once a week we would go down to Knoxville and like work at a rural hospital. So I was able to like bring that in a little bit. It just gave me, I feel like, an advantage that I had like hard, cold, like I want to do this because I've seen this and that's what I want to do.
You have evidence to draw from.
Yes. 100. It's not just like my first interview. I remember I was like, well, I know I don't like research.
Right.
And that was it.
Period.
That was period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, why this? But,
Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing about, well, we think it's cool. The cool thing about our
We're pretty cool here.
objectively, the cool thing
I mean,
about our
come on.
interview process is that our interviewers are totally blind to an application.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
when an applicant sits across from them, they know nothing about them. They are a blank slate, and an applicant can then. Did you not know this?
Is that new?
No?
What?
That happened to you too? Yeah, no.
Yeah, they know your name, where you got your undergrad degree, and the degree itself. That's it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
That's all they
Yeah,
know.
bare
Oh,
bones.
okay.
Everything else is new.
Yeah,
I just
so
thought
you
it
get
was
to
the-
bring
okay.
to the table
Yeah.
whatever you want to bring.
Oh my god.
There's no preconceived notion. There's no bias. There's no nothing.
I'm shook. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes applicants
That
are
would have
worried
changed
about,
Val's approach.
right?
Here I was like explaining away my first MCAT.
right. As if they knew.
As
Yeah.
if I knew. Oh, I outed myself big time.
It's okay.
Fantastic.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
I think one more thing I like to add specifically about Iowa's and why that was my favorite interview, it was in person. I was like on the tail end of the COVID, both rounds of applications. I had some virtual interviews, and maybe it's just me. I can't talk to a screen.
Yeah,
I know, like I was
same.
super awkward, and once again, to get back on the topic of how much money it is to apply, but if you have the funds and the resources and the school is offering an in-person, I think that helps a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been cognizant to keep that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yes, there's still a virtual option because of multiple factors.
Mhm.
But there is something to be said for getting the feel of being here and having the in-person interaction, bringing your message all the way home and like fully completing how your experiences, although adjacent to being a doctor, helped you to know why this is your goal is so important in your application, the first steps that you do in your writing, and then bringing that forward to interview too, because those are some of the top complaints or comments or critiques is that they don't know why specifically this is what you want to do. And that makes them nervous because it doesn't just stop when you get into medical school, right?
Yeah, I think you have to understand that when you're contemplating how anxious this all makes you, I mean, there's a certain amount of institutional anxiety on the other end of it. Like, where we don't have the money to spend on people who don't understand why they want to do this, or who haven't explored all of the different options, or haven't really explored why MD. And I think one of those, Rachel, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the problems that sometimes happens is people write a lot about the profession that they want to get into, but not about the me part of why I would fit with that profession.
Oh, interesting. My colleague Megan did a presentation about this at a conference like a year ago, where the title of the presentation was Applying to Medical School, the Art of the Humble Brag. So applying to medical school, it's awkward to talk about yourself, and there is a very fine line and a balance that you need to strike with talking about yourself, but in a way that isn't so like I centric, and being careful of like not using too many I statements in your personal statement. And yes, you have to talk about what you did, but more so, especially follow it up with why it matters, why it's important for an admissions committee to know. And that is challenging because you do have to talk about yourself. And a lot of times people, well, I mean, not everyone, but like some people struggle talking about themselves. And so it's either way too much about themselves or way too little about themselves. And so it's striking this balance.
The other problem, which is, doctors need to help other people, and sort of describing that your perception of the career that you're trying to get to without describing why you are
exactly
a fit for that.
Because that's not news to the people who are reading your application who have done this.
I mean, it's nice that you know that, but
but that's not news to them. They're doing it. So that is so true. It is challenging, and it's the humble brag.
Shortcuts, if you have something you want to say about our discussion, go to theshortcoat.com/tell us, send us a message, or comment wherever you're watching this. I read them. Otherwise, that's our show. Until next time, I'm Dave Etler saying don't let the bastards get you down. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye.